You heard it right from the CEOs. Labor, labor, labor. Finding it is one of the toughest problems facing a host of industries right now. But for companies like Coinbase and Meta, well, the problem isn't finding labor, it's having too much. So what does this varied picture of the jobs market mean for the overall economy? Let's bring in our own Kate Rogers for more on that. And Kate, you just heard Kevin O'Leary in the previous segment. He's practically groveling before his employees to keep them. What are you seeing?
Yeah, so it's really a mixed picture, Eamon. So you just mentioned you heard from all of those CEOs. We had this big jobs number today, but if you look beneath that, the weeks leading up to it, it's been a ton of talk about layoffs. In the retail space, we heard from Walmart lowering its forecast, also laying off about 200 employees, CNBC reported. Then Shopify, another big e-commerce player that had a lot of pandemic success, laying off about 10% of its workforce, saying that the boom that was expected to continue from the pandemic in e-commerce spending did not sustain. But it's not limited to just retail. We heard from Ford and Rivian also laying off workers. Beyond Meat last night in its earnings report talking about consumers trading down to cheaper meats and that impacting that company. It's laying off about 40 workers. And then also in the tech space, you're hearing, from Alphabet, Amazon, Twitter, you mentioned Robinhood, Coinbase, a lot of this tied to ad spending online too, and a lot of them laying off workers as well as we debate back and forth whether or not we're in a recession. It's two very different pictures in the job market.
Yeah, Kate, absolutely. We heard about this from Steve Leisman earlier in the broadcast, right? He talked about dining and drinking places. They're way up. One area we keep hearing is on fire. Leisure, hospitality. What are you seeing there?
Yeah, so we had a huge number today for leisure and hospitality, 96,000 jobs added, which sounds great. But then if you look under the hood, we're still more than 1 million workers short of where we were pre-pandemic. So this is coming at a really challenging time, Eamon, for the tourism and hospitality industry because American consumers are very ready to get out there and spend. There's a lot of pent-up demand from the last 2 summers of being in this pandemic. Now people are feeling perhaps a bit more comfortable to get out there. But the American Hotel and Lodging Association CEO told us that nearly 100% of their membership said that they were hiring. Nearly 50% said that they were in a severe staffing shortage. And you're seeing hotel operators try and kind of do more with what they have, which is not a lot right now. They're limiting, the amount of cleanings that people are getting in their hotel rooms in some cases. Some of them are blocking off hotels and saying that these rooms are not available when they actually are, but they just don't have the staff to service them. Hotel restaurants are perhaps limiting their menus and kind of closing down for 2 out of the 7 days a week, only operating for 5. We did hear one success story, though, from Maury's Piers in Wildwood, New Jersey, if you're familiar with the Wildwood area at the Jersey Shore. Basically, what they did was a really aggressive hiring campaign out ahead of the summer season. They got out there, hired early. They also worked with the state to change the amount of hours that teen workers can actually work this summer, up to 50 hours a week if you're not in school. And that kind of helped them to close the gap for the summer season. And they said that they're fully staffed. That was the only time I heard that in doing this story today.
Fully staffed. That's great to hear, Kate. We need Wildwood to be up and running for the rest of the summer down in the Jersey Shore. Yep.